Kaizer Chiefs will play Orlando Pirates in the first Soweto Derby of 2025. Let me correct myself. Kaizer Chiefs will humble Orlando Pirates in the first Soweto Derby of 2025. But how exactly are they going to line up? Well, as it happens, that's exactly what we are talking about. Hello and welcome to Khosi KNFTV. I am Bilo, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club starting in goal with our assist king, Bruce Vuma. I know, right? Who would have thought that of all players, Bruce Vuma will have an assist, and he has had an assist in the previous game against Free Agents. He kicked the ball long and then it got Pulemodi, who then scored a goal. Some people think there was route one football. No, these movements are pretty much not predetermined, rehearsed. They knew very well that Pulemodi would be making that run and the ball was played to him. Have you seen how serious Kaizer Chiefs takes the training of their goalkeepers? There are some pictures from training that are just crazy, which tells me that the training of the goalkeepers is up a notch. In fact, well, let me not even talk about whether he's better than our previous goalkeeper coach or not. Anyways, let's go to right back. And this is a position that is very tricky because, one, you have Ore Frosler, who's a natural right back. But the problem with Frosler, he plays when he wants to, and that position is going to be so crucial with dealing with Orelebule Mfukeng that you will need someone who is going to be locked in the entire game. And this is why I think that the coach might actually trust Ublom with that position. Yes, I know that Frosler did play in the previous game, but we've seen Ublom playing very well in the right back position, and I think that he will slot in there perfectly, which brings us to the left back, and this is one of the positions of contention. Is Kaizer Chiefs going to be so scared of Orlando Pirates that they're going to say, you know what, let's play Titlok at left back, or will they say, let's be ambitious enough to play Ukros so that when we go forward, he does offer something? And I think that the answer will be the latter. Kaizer Chiefs will definitely try and go forward, and I think that Ukros will then play at left back. And at this point, when it comes to the centre back pairing, they pick themselves. With the exception of a few games, we have seen Titloka coming in for Totally, which shows that there is competition, but it's also a good thing because that means there's an alternative in case something happens to Totally and they will play with Titloka. But this time around in the Soweto Derby, I think that the quality of Totally will definitely see him starting in this game, which brings us to the right centre back and Inacio Miguel. And yes, there's been a lot of issues. Oh, Miguel was not what we thought he would be. I don't think it's been like as horrible as people are saying. I think the only and main problem with Miguel has been a disciplinary, and in recent games he's actually fixed that issue. So I don't think that we should dig too much and make that such a big deal. I think that he's been playing very well in recent games. I will say though, one thing that I think him and Totally need to fix, it's their communication. Like whether I'm watching on TV or I'm watching at the stadium live, I don't see it, man. I don't see the communication. Before, I used to see Miguel commanding that back line. I don't know whether it was the loss of confidence and that commanding power and just calling this and doing that. I've not seen that as much as I want to see it, because that is going to be really key, especially, you know, both Pirate strikers are troublesome, especially when it comes to defending. But Umabasa especially, because he's a very smart player in the box. He might not be that great in doing other things like Mahopa, pressing, making the right movements and making the team play, but he's very good when it comes to basically pressing the teams, and I mean, he's very good at not pressing but being in the right positions. And if you're not communicating as a backline, he will hurt you. So please guys, communicate. And also with Ubvuma as well, because Ubvuma is a very vocal player. That's another thing that I like about him and Peterson. Those things are also their strengths. They are very good at commanding their backline and just talking to them. So I hope that thing will be solved, and there will really be a good solid unit, which then brings us to our midfield. And this is where some people will say, Velo Nampilo, you like Mart, why do you think he was rested in the previous game? He's going to start that game, guys. Whether you like this or not, Mart and Mteto are going to be starters tomorrow. Question is, if I was the coach, who else would I start? I wouldn't throw Thabo Cele at the deep end at this point. I wouldn't do that. Also, I wouldn't play Usamgelo Zwane from the start of the game. I wouldn't do that. So, to be fair and honest, if you're looking at the Pirates midfield, that is going to be posting the likes of Maswangan. You can really get busy in that midfield. If they decide to play with Dlamini, they can really hurt us in that midfield. So they have players who can play the ball. But what makes it worse, in every game, almost every game that I've watched that Pirates play, they almost play like Chiefs in terms of how they set up tactically. The only thing is the personnel is different. You see how Chiefs, when they play, Usireno starts as a left winger but inverts into midfield, and basically they become 4 players, and then they allow Hoto to then overlap on the left side. Pirates do the same thing. They will let Hoto run on the left hand side, and then Uralem Fukeng inverts into midfield. Now if Unlele, you're gonna have problems, and that's exactly why I think that the coach would be playing Umart and Umteto, because those two are very good at winning the ball back. Obviously the weakness is then the fact that they then lose the ball. Yes, I'm saying it, Mart does lose the ball a lot, and I will say it and not have any fear, but as the season goes, I think that those two guys will be frozen out by the arrival of Thabo Cele. But then if you're playing those two guys, who's gonna play as a 10? It's obvious. Shabalala was out injured with a hamstring problem, so we could see Umatlo continuing because he's been playing very well in the previous games. And then Shabalala, given the fact that you really don't want to risk him long term, he can come in second half and be a huge impact signing. So for now, I don't think that they will want to disrupt the improvement of Umatlo in that midfield. The only thing that I will say though is there's the other possible a way of playing that would be Mtetwa and then Umatlo and then Shabalala as a 10. The only problem I have with that is the fact that that pairing has never played together, so you're gonna start playing them together in the derby. Mtetwa no Mart, they already have an understanding, and in front of them Matlo has been back for the previous few games and he can basically improve the team. Or if you're dropping Ox, which I think is highly unlikely, because the player that they would drop if they were dropping someone would be Umart, and I completely understand that. So I do think that we'll have Mart, Ox and Matlo as a 10. If not, highly unlikely, Mart, Ox and then Shabalala in the first half, which then brings us to our left wing position, because right now we know that Umodi has been playing very well in recent games, and then Usireno is now back fit. So what are they going to do? I think that it's not really a complicated situation right now. I think that Umodi will continue playing in that position, and what that will do is he will also know that second half the other players outside who can always come in for him, but I think that he will be starting the game as a left wing, which brings us to the right wing, where Upotan has played. Well, he played in that other game when he first came back and he was convincing, and then all of a sudden, I wouldn't call it falling off, but it wasn't the greatest of performances. But then now Sereno is back and he's fit, and Vel, in any case, when he plays, he's not playing as a wide winger, but instead he inverts into midfield. The only issue with that is if he inverts into midfield, who's giving us width on the right hand side? You understand me? So I wouldn't be shocked if actually Sereno plays as a left winger and then inverts into midfield, and then that allows Cross to move out wide, and then Upule Modi to stay on the right, because if he's giving us width on the right hand side, he can get the ball and dribble past people, because the other thing that you don't want to do is ask Uplom to do too much up and down. So I'm expecting Modi to play on the right and then Sereno to play on the left, because I mean, who else are you going to play? Because Potsane, as I said, has not been that great. Now, if you're enjoying the video, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel, and you are watching this video and it's not yet on 1,000 likes, make sure that you hit the like so that we get to 1,000 likes on this video, which then brings us to our number 9, and Morris being suspended, Utuba being out for 6 weeks, which is just unfortunate. That leaves the only one, Ranga Chivavero, and it gets even worse. Like the fact that Utuba is not there, the fact that Utupri is not there, it just opens up a lot of possibilities, because second half, should he not perform, Shabalala can always come in and play as a false 9, right? Sereno can play as a false 9. Shabalala could be moving onto one of the sides, because short of him, the only other player who could come in is Uhlongwane. And we have seen players coming in, we saw it at Derby and making an impact. I just don't know whether the coach will actually be risking to do all of that. But I think that squad, if the coach sets it, and that is the most likely, and yeah, from my point of view, it makes sense. I think the two coach will have a good result. Now, what do you guys think? And give me your match predictions down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy.